Okay, so if you're actually subscribed to me, or if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you know that I'm not the biggest proponent of college. I think it's a big waste of time. But there are 5 scenarios where you might want to go to college, right? Where college is a necessity for you. And in this video, I'm going to tell you the 5 exceptions to my own statement of college sucks. And hopefully they're useful for you when making a decision. So the number one reason for you to go to college is if you need a laboratory. If you need a lab, and I'm talking about maybe say a genetics lab, maybe you're learning genetics, you want to be a geneticist, you obviously need a lab to understand what's going on. And that applies to many other industries. It even applies to things like mechanical engineering, where it would make a lot of sense for you to use a lathe in real life instead of just reading about it. The next thing, and I'm sure you've heard about this a lot, is the alumni network. It's a bunch of friends that might have the same passions as you. You can start a company with them. They will refer you to companies. There's a lot of value there. But what people get wrong is why the alumni networks in good colleges are great. And the main reason for this is not the teaching, it is the entrance test. In the IITs, the entrance test is so tough that only the cream of the crop in India make it there. The alumni at IITs are awesome because of the entrance test. It's not that the IITs suddenly take average people and make them miraculous. That's not how it works. They take already smart, driven and hardworking people, put them under one roof. What do you expect them to do? They're obviously all going to do well because they've already have a track record of proving that through whether it's going to quota or studying so much just to clear JEE, right? So alumni is a function of the entrance test. The harder the entrance test of a college, the better the expected alumni. There's also one exception. If you go to a college where the entrance test is whatever, but the fees are really high, that's also a very good college to go to, even though it's a big waste of your parents' money. And the main reason for this is because in colleges that have very high fees, the kids who come there have rich parents. So if you make friends with these kids, they will give you access to their parents who might be successful in their own ways. Because if someone can afford $100,000 for Harvard, it means that person is probably successful in their own fields. So it's always easy for you to go to a friend and say, oh, your dad works here. So remember, there's always a possibility that when somebody graduates from college, they're going to go work for their dad or their mom, right? In their dad's business. And that's a good opportunity for you to get jobs, for you to find business partners, for you to find venture capital, etc., etc. Right? So Harvard makes a lot of sense, not because of the entrance test, but because of the kind of people that come there, because of how much it costs. So even though it looks like cheating, it is advantageous to you if you can clear the exams and not have to pay that kind of money, because you get to hang around with the who's who. And you learn that when you're young, you are paid for what you know. And when you're old, you're paid for who you know. And places like Harvard give you that network. The next reason I recommend colleges with great hostels is because you have the hostel life. A lot of people, and because I have that variety of audience, I know that a lot of people come from tier 2 or tier 3 cities that would really like the exposure, that don't have the exposure of even conversing with somebody. These kids, they can ace a test, but they can't have a simple conversation with somebody. And as you grow older, having those conversations is important because success depends on how well you can convey your ideas. So when you go to a hostel, you gain more exposure in life, especially if you're from a smaller town, right? When I went to Manipal, I met all sorts of people. Till then, I had only met a certain type of person. In Manipal, I met people from abroad. I met people from Delhi, which I didn't have too much exposure to before I went there. I met people from China. I met people from all over the place, and I learned what their cultures and their lives are like. And I also started becoming like a global citizen rather than, just relegated to Bangalore in India. And plus, there are so many hostel experiences that have made me who I am. There's so much fun you can have. There are risks you can take. There are things you will learn. There are life lessons. The movies, especially the Indian movies about hostel life in these engineering colleges, are actually very true to the source material. Hostel is an incredible experience if you can manage to get into one, a good one. There's also a risk with hostel. You could also get into a hostel with a very low barrier. The entrance test could be very simple to get through, or it could just be a college where all sorts of random people come, and you might get into a gang or you might get into drugs, right? So there are risks as well. So take the risk-benefit analysis when joining a college. That's why a more reputed college with a better hostel is better than the lower reputed college with a worse hostel. The next reason is that you might just want to go abroad. And the only way for you to get a visa in the US is to actually study there. And I've seen this in many cases, right? People will study in the US just so that they can get a visa and continue to work there. If you were to organically try to get a visa directly from India and a job directly in the US, it would be very challenging. So I've seen a lot of instances of people who apply to an American college, find a job through placements in that college, in a particular company, and then eventually just become American residents. It's happened many times, and it's a legit path to do it. The last reason to go to college is if regulation demands it. You can't be a doctor if you don't have a DR dot before your name, if you don't have an official degree. And look at me as a patient, right? If I'm a patient, I don't want to go to a hospital where there's some random guy who learnt online, how to do surgery and is waving a knife around. It's stupid and nobody would risk their lives on it. Also, as a patient, I respect the fact that the medical board takes action against rogue doctors, because that gives me a sense of comfort that if this person tries to do something stupid, there's at least a board that kind of holds him back. There's that fear, that unconscious fear of that. There's a lot of bullshit content on YouTube. If you want high quality, well-researched content by somebody that's actually experienced, by somebody that's actually run a company in the recruitment space, that's scaled a company in the recruitment space, run a business, done freelance by himself, then subscribe to this channel. Go ahead. What are you waiting for?